Alright, so today we're going to do a coolant flush and refill. Ford recommends doing this at 100,000 miles. I'm only at 44,000, but I'm going to knock it out now. I noticed my reservoir was a little bit low. My reservoir's up there, right there in the back. Noticed my reservoir was a little bit low, and I was thinking about topping it off, but I'm like, you know what? This is an easy video to make, and hopefully I can teach you guys something. So let's just go ahead and do the tutorial on how to flush it and then refill it. So let's do it. All right, so first things, we're gonna remove the 5 plastic clips out of here. You'll just use a little screwdriver and pop them out. They look like this here. So you'll just get your screwdriver underneath the edge and pop them out. So there's 5 of those fasteners, and then this will just lift off to expose the top of your radiator right there. So then you'll come over here and you'll remove your radiator cap here. That's your reservoir there. So we're going to remove that cap, and then we're going to go down underneath the truck and we're going to use the radiator drain. Alright, so we're underneath the front of the truck now. I've got a 5-gallon bucket here. I'm right underneath the passenger side. And there is your, this is a 2020 Ranger, and there's a red color on here. I don't know if there's different colors on other ones, but you'll see that the drain is right there on the side of your radiator. And seems okay, I got it finger tight. So I'm turning it towards the driver's side right now. Okay, I've got it open, and I'm gonna go up top and remove a hose to get a little bit of air in there. All right, we need to back up a step. It only turned like a quarter turn, and it felt like it stopped, and it wasn't draining, so I just figured the system was under vacuum still. But if you turn a little bit harder, it kind of comes out. So it'll go like 3/4 of a turn, and now we're draining out. While that's draining, let's talk about these 2 bottles. So I've got two things here. I got these from Walmart, $7.95, and I believe also $7.95. This is a cleaner system flush, and it claims that it removes deposits and coolant gel and cleans the system. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be running that through the system once it's completely drained with some distilled water, and then after we take all of the cleaner out, the super flush, so we're going to drain it again, and then we're going to put this super coolant in there, and this helps prevent corrosion. It reduces engine temperature, and provides maximum corrosion protection, so why not? It also claims to reduce cooling by 30 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's cool, pretty cool. We've also got our pre-stone antifreeze and coolant here. This is the concentrate one, so we have to add water to it. Now, I took a trip to like a couple of different stores around here. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, and apparently we have a distilled water shortage. So I'm going to be using this big old jug of water. Because I know it's clean, I'm not going to use tap water. I would never use tap water. So if you're doing this, especially like to the water that you flush your system with, and also if you get this concentrate, you can get it pre-mixed, pre-diluted, and then you don't have to add any water. But this is the concentrate, so I do have to add water. And you would never want to add tap water. Tap water has a lot of minerals and crap in there that's going to gunk up your engine, especially when it gets hot and leaves deposits and everything. So you want to use distilled water if at all possible. Because I don't have distilled water, I'm going to roll the dice on this and use this filtered water, and hopefully I'm good to go. But we're going to use that water for flushing the system as well as diluting the new antifreeze when we put it back in. All right, so I just got a little over 2 gallons of fluid out. The bucket was dirty, so don't think that all that dirt and floaty stuff in there came from out of my truck, because the bucket was already dirty. But you can see the fluid's not bad looking. It's a little bit off color. I think it's supposed to be a little bit more yellow. I'm sorry, a little bit more green. But anyway, doesn't look too bad. So we're gonna go ahead and put the flush in there now, and then add some water, and we're gonna start it up, and we have to let it run for 30 minutes. All right, we've got it topped up with water, and then the instructions on the flush say to turn on your heat and make sure it's all the way on high, and just blast that heat the whole time. You're gonna run it for 30 minutes. And the reason for blasting the heat is to make sure that the solenoid opens for the heater core and also flushes the heater core that's underneath the dash. All right, we let it run for 30 minutes with the heat jacked all the way up. Everything looks like it's cycled through just fine, and now we got to let it cool it down, which will probably take at least half an hour for everything to cool down, and then we're going to drain it again and then just refill it with the new fluid and the supercharged super coolant. Alright, she's cooled down, so we're going to go ahead and drain the water and detergent out of there, and then we can refill it with the good stuff. Alright, so I've already drained the system completely of all of the detergent or cleaner that we use, the flush stuff. And then I refilled it with water again and drained it again, just straight water. So should be nice and cleaned out. We're going to refill it now with the hypercoolant and the Prestone coolant. Now, we recommend, for my area and everything, they recommend a 60-40 mix of this stuff. So the system holds about 6 liters. So I'm going to be doing an entire gallon of this, which is close to 4 liters, and then I'll fill this up halfway with water, and I'll put that in there as well. So let's go ahead and fill this guy up. Alright guys, she's all set. I've got the system refilled. It's a little bit over the full line. I think there's still a little bit of air in the system, so I'm going to drive it and see if it goes down. If it doesn't go down, I'll just suction some out with one of those turkey baster things. But what you want to do is you want to let it run for a little while with the cap off, and then once it gets up to temperature, install the cap. And then you can kind of burp the line by squeezing the hose here. It'll push any air bubbles out. But yeah, we're all refilled with new fluid. Flush went well, and we're good to go. We'll see you on the next project. Alright, so here is the portion of the video that I did not want to make. It's 2 days later now. And what happened was, after I refilled the engine with coolant, all the new coolant and everything, and the treatment, I went to start the truck and it was automatically pegged out. The gauge, the temperature gauge, was all the way pegged to the red. And I couldn't figure out why it would be that way, because it obviously wasn't in an overheated condition. And so I tried everything. I figured there was probably some air in the system, so I tried everything. I tried burping all the lines to get all the air out. I tried like revving the truck up a little bit and then and then letting it sit like at idle for a few seconds and then revving it again. Some people recommended that to burp the lines or get all the air out. Everything I tried, I could not get that temperature gauge back down to normal. It would just stayed pegged out all the time. I even let the truck set out overnight, and the next morning, 28 degrees outside, still pegged temperature gauge. So I figured maybe for some reason the temperature gauge or the temperature sensor went bad, which is way down below there. You actually have to pull the front tire to get to it, and it's up behind almost where the oxygen sensor is, the O2 sensor. So I tried everything. So I said, okay, well, that sensor is only $13. So I went ahead and replaced that. You can see I made a separate video on how to replace that in case any of you guys ever have to. It's not fun, but go ahead and watch that video if you need to replace your temperature sensor. But anyway, after I replaced the temperature sensor, exactly the same condition. Gauge is maxed out. Of course, getting the alerts like the engine's overheating and all that, and of course, and it's stuck in limp mode. So fortunately, I have a garage about an hour, not an hour, I'm sorry, about a mile from my house. There's a garage, and I was able to limp the truck over there, driving it like really slowly, so I didn't damage anything. And what they found out was there was like an air pocket up in the top. There's another temperature sensor in the top of the engine, and there was an air pocket in there that was causing that temperature sensor to max out. So this is what the shop found. They ran diagnostics on it and confirmed that there was no problems other than that temperature gauge being pegged out. And what they wound up doing was they wound up doing a vacuum fill on the cooling system. What happens is when you put this vacuum device on the system, it basically allows it to suck all of the air out of the system and replace it with coolant. which is not something that I could have done in my shop. I would have needed an air compressor, which I don't have, and that specialty tool, which I don't have. So what's the damages? $192.15 for diagnostics and $143.49 for their vacuum fill, for a grand total of $335.64. So I basically just made a $350 mistake, and the only reason I'm making this video, because it obviously hurts my pride and ego, but I wanted you guys to learn from it. So don't make the same mistake I did. If you don't have the specialty vacuum tool, do not do this. Like I said, I tried everything I could think of, and I could not get the air out of the system. And I wasn't even absolutely sure that was the problem. But yeah, don't make the same mistake I did. And if you do, or if you are due for a coolant change, go ahead and bring it to a shop that has the right equipment. And this is not a procedure you want to do yourself unless you have the right equipment. I hope you guys learned something from this. I sure did. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.